NKN News. Now we're going to head to El Salvador, where back in February the president announced he was moving thousands of high-ranking gang members to the country's new so-called mega jail. Since then there has been no information released about who exactly is being held or conditions there in the prison. Now an investigation by NKN Mundo has used computer-generated reconstructions to reveal what life is like inside the mega jail cells. At Larry Ventas reports this government footage of El Salvador's so-called mega prison went viral when it was released in February. It's called the Terrorism Confinement Center, or Secret. It's the centerpiece of Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele's self-declared war on gangs. Since the huge media campaign that surrendered its opening, there has been no other information about life inside Secret. Relatives of those detained have been desperately trying to find out what has happened to them. He was almost unrecognizable, so very thin. I only knew it was him by his tattoos. Angelica says her husband has no links with gangs. She has heard nothing for developing since he was arrested under emergency powers brought in March 2022 by President Bukele. Through satellite imagery data released by the Salvadoran government and documents seen by NKN Mundo, we've gathered information about the site. There are 8 cell blocks monitored by 19 watchtowers. Inside the cells, the beds are metal plates, and there are 2 toilets open to the rooms. So far, the authorities say they have transferred 4,000 prisoners to the jail and that there is capacity for up to 40,000. At full capacity, each person would have 0.58 square meters of space. The International Committee of the Red Cross recommends 3.4 square meters in a shared cell. Since the emergency Antiguan measures were introduced, at least 68,000 people have been arrested and crime has plummeted. Last year, the murder rate fell by 56.8%. President Bukele and his policies are extremely popular, but human rights groups and protesters say the measures have led to serious human rights abuses, could become inhumane and degrading. Because no one has access to that prison, no lawyers, no ombudsman, not even the media can enter and verify the conditions inside. During a NKN interview in March, the security minister said this about Secret: "This is the biggest monument in justice we have ever built. We have nothing to hide. The members of peace terrorist organizations are the ones who will go to sack it. We have made a commitment to the people of El Salvador that they will never be released to the communities." NKN Mundo asked to film inside Secrets for an interview with the government to address the wider issues in this report, but they declined to commend NKN News. And we speak now to NKN Mundo's Marcos Gonzalez. Good to see you. So questions inevitably thrown up by this report and this investigation. What are the main questions around human rights and legal issues? Well, there are many questions around this mega deals. For 4 months after its opening, for instance, we don't know who are the people there. It's supposed to be for the main leaders, or the 2 main gangs in El Salvador, which are the Mara Salvatrucha and Barrio, but we know nothing about their identities, or why there are at least officially 4,000 people in this mega jail if the maximum capacity is for 40,000 people. So again, and this is especially a worry for their relatives, as we saw in the video, as they know nothing about the location of the so many people who have been harvested during the last year of the state of emergency in El Salvador. But secondly, and maybe even more important, is that we know very little about the conditions inside this mega deal. That's why we at the NKN Mundo, we have recreated in this special investigation some details of the jail, of the cells, so you can have like a context, like a general idea about how are these people living inside in this cell. And again, we saw, for instance, according to some documents shared with us by an engineer who was involved in the construction of the magazine, we saw that each prisoner has a space in its cell which is almost 6 times smaller than the officer recommendation by the Red Cross. The thing is that no one can access this mega jail to the current conditions. No media knows. What we know is that according to a recent report by one of the main human rights, general violence against them and lack of medical treatment. So of course this is a huge concern for human rights organizations. Okay, Marcos, thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you.